a little discombobulated. It's been a minute since I filmed anything because I had a little bit of a health flare, and I did film something, but I didn't have the brain space to edit it. So we're gonna try again. And this is a great time so that we can talk about the end of June reading, which it ended up, despite my health, it ended up being a pretty good reading month. Okay, so I'll link below my first half of June reading. And in that, I talked about 2 Book of the Month's books that I've read this month. And one of my goals for this year is to read at least 1 Book of the Month book per month. And this month, which I've been doing really well and have been reading at least 1 a month. This month, I read 4. Yeah, I read 4. I'm pretty happy about that. I read 2 for a vlog that will come out later this week. And I'm just gonna tell you really quick what the books are. You'll have to go to the vlog for my wrap up of the books and my reading. So I read Evil Eye by Etaf Rum with my friend Maria. And I read Mame by Jessica George. The other book that's featured in that vlog is Revival Season by Monica West. These 3 are also the books that I talked about in my 5-star prediction video that I'll also link below, and I read them pretty quickly. So maybe that's the key. Maybe I need to just pick out books that I think are gonna be 5 stars. Maybe, I don't know. Get through my backlist. I also read, I'm trying to keep all these piles separate, for a book club, for Becca Books and Bujo's book club. I read In the Dark, Dark Wood by Ruth Ware. This is my 3rd Ruth Ware, and I'm enjoying her books for sure. This book I read a couple of years ago. I started it and DNF'd it. I just couldn't get into it. And so I decided to give it a try again, and I did enjoy it. It's not my favorite Ruth Ware. I think that still goes to The Death of Mrs. Westaway. This is about some friends that go on a hen party or a hen weekend, which is the same as a bachelorette weekend in the US. They go to this remote house. You know, I love me a remote house setting. And there's a couple of people there that are invited, our main character and one of her friends, because, well, honestly, they're not sure why they're invited. They haven't talked to the bride in a long time. One of them didn't even know she was getting married. And then there's just a lot of backstory, revelations. The groom identity is brought into this, and yeah, I enjoyed it. Like I said, it was a good read. I think I ended up giving this 3 stars. So the other book that I had started in and mentioned in my first half of June reading update, I did finish. Everyone in This Room Will Someday Be Dead by Emily Austen. I think I said in the video it was quirky and fun, and it was quirky, fun, and anxious. We're following Gilda, who is a queer woman who gets a job at a Catholic church. She hides her sexuality from everyone because she really needs a job. And she starts to really enjoy the people that she's working with. The woman who had her job previously died kind of suddenly. And there's questions about that death. And Gilda kind of becomes obsessed. And she goes and does some things that aren't the best decisions. But that's pretty typical of the Emily Austen characters. I also read her other one. I read them out of publication order. I read Interesting Facts About Space, which is her most recent release, and then I read her debut. Now, I see a lot of similarities with the two books, and they both of the characters deal with anxiety and a bit of obsession. Gilda also doesn't have a lot of resources, and so she ends up in the emergency room a lot for different things, her anxiety, a car accident, things like that, where they are legitimate health concerns, but her frequency of going to the ER sometimes causes the medical professionals to not take her as seriously, which is frustrating. But yeah, I definitely recommend this. If you liked Death of a Bookseller by Alice Slater, you may enjoy this. Okay, so those are the ones that I finished, right? Got my trusty little list. Oh, I also finished the audiobook for The Roommate Pact by Allison Ashley. This was about a nurse and her roommate who is a firefighter, and he ends up having an accident and is immobilized for a good length of time. I listened to the audiobook and just needed something light after reading through some kind of harder reads, and it was what I needed. It was a cute little romance. It was not, there's definitely some parts of it that I felt were, a little ridiculous, but I gave it 3 stars. I did have 2 DNFs this month, 3 DNFs. Must have been on a DNFing kick. So the first one I DNF'd was one of my big books of summer. I DNF'd Villette by Charlotte Bronte. I tried this on audio. I tried reading it physically. I tried reading it together, audio and physical, and I just didn't care. I just didn't care. And I think I mentioned in my other video, the first half of June reading, that I don't know if I like classics, but I'm not going to let this one be the one that determines that for me, because this had a lot of French in it, where on the audiobook I noticed that the narrator sometimes translated and sometimes didn't. In the book, in my copy that I have, the translation is down in the footnote. And so if I was listening to the audio and not reading it, and it was French, I took 4 years of French, so I know some words, but yeah, it kind of pulled me out of the story. I also was not invested in the characters at all. Lucy what's her name? Lucy Snow. I felt like how she was presented in the beginning, she changes a bit, and not that that's a bad problem, but there's like, it wasn't an evolution. It was just kind of a is this the same person I was reading about before? Because they don't even seem like there wasn't much similar. And maybe that was just because I was having a hard time in general with it. So this is a DNF. The other DNF I was really sad about was Arrangements in Blue by Amy Key, Notes on Loving and Living Alone. So I love living alone. I like to have my pets. I can, get full use of the remote. I can move furniture wherever I want, those fun things. I thought this was going to be a fun read, but also a serious read because, living alone, sometimes you do feel lonely. This was just not what I expected, and dealt more with, I don't know, I think it was, there's parts of it that hit close to home. But yeah, it just wasn't what I expected, and I wasn't interested in continuing with it. So it's kind of sad because I do follow Amy Key on social media and enjoy her posts and her little writing. And I did enjoy the writing style, so I may pick up something else from Amy Key, but this one was just not for me. The other not for me book was Big Swiss by, who is that by? Jen, what's your last name, Jen? Jen Began. Big Swiss is about a woman who is a transcriber for a sex therapist, and I thought this would be fun and quirky, and it was. Like, I could actually, now that I think about it, I can definitely see similarities between Big Swiss and Emily Austen writing. However, as someone who works in psychology, I had a hard time with where the novel went, and that was just a me thing. So I had gotten it out from the library, and I just decided I've got other things I'd rather read, so I DNF'd that one. Okay, so what am I currently reading? This is going to be my first big book of summer that I'll complete, is The Family Row. I am listening to this on audio and reading some of it because it does have pictures. And this is basically an investigative journalist. I think he's does a bunch of research into the Roe v. Wade case and the woman who was Jane Roe and her children and the doctors on both sides and the lawmakers on both sides, and he does a fabulous job of putting it all together in an understandable way that's not too boring. I do feel like it's some of the jumping around is not transitioned well, but otherwise it's been very informative. I am 80% on the audiobook, and that is about, I've read this much. This, I only really have a couple of chapters left because the notes start, because it's really well researched, and so there's going to be a lot of notes. Yeah, so I only have like this much left of the book. And I honestly expect to finish it today. Today is June 30th, and I will probably finish it today. So the other one I'm reading is just the dust jacket. The book's in the other room. Middlesex by Jeffrey Eugenides. He is the author, also the author of The Virgin Suicides, which I did enjoy. He, this is one of my 12 and 24 books, and it's about a person named Calliope, they call Cal, who was born intersex, having a rare genetic, what do they call it? Rare genetic mutation where they have the sex organs of both male and female. And Calliope is raised as a girl. I haven't really gotten into too much of it yet. But I am enjoying the writing style, and I also have the audiobook out. I started reading the audiobook the other day and wasn't even sure what I was reading. So I pulled out the hardcover, and that is my hard copy, and that's going better. This may be one that I read physically instead of do the audiobook. And then one book that I did start and misplaced, so I have not finished it yet, is The Hearing Test by Eliza Barry Callahan. This is about a person who wakes up with sudden deafness, and that's as far as I've gotten into it, and it's fine so far. I like the writing style, so we'll see where that goes as well. That's where I'm at with June. June was a great reading month, and I am looking forward to July. I will also link my July TBR below. I did the Roll Your Next Read challenge game that was created by Lindsay at Lindsay's Little Library and Sarah at Sarah's Nightstand. I also am going to be doing a tag on Tuesday for Tag Tuesday. Is that what they call it? So I look forward to bringing that to you. It's kind of a somber tag. As many of you know, I was doing the Joy Reading June prompt that was created by Alice from Alice and the Giant Bookshelf. And earlier this weekend, Alice's husband shared that Alice passed away. And I didn't know her. I only knew her from her BookTube channel, which is amazing. And she loves Agatha Christie, which I love Agatha Christie. We just had a lot of similarities on the book side. And we, as many of us do, communicated via comment here and there. But in the middle of June, we were she had created the prompt of Joy Reading June, which was mainly mood reading, which I feel like I did. And to hear that news, it's just very sad. And my heart goes out to all her friends and family. And I will be doing on Tuesday, I'm going to do a tag that Alice created that is based on Agatha Christie's detective Hercule Poirot. So I'll bring that to you Tuesday. I hope you're having a great day, great week, and I will talk to you very soon. If you get a chance and you enjoy my content, if you could subscribe, that would be awesome, and click the like button. Let me know in the comments what was your favorite read of June, and I will see you soon. Bye.